Dak Prescott at 38. I'm okay with Dak at 38. That's probably about where he belongs. But CD is 5 slots back. No, CD has to depend on Dak to throw him the football. So let's start with the Hall of Fame receiver, Michael Irvin. Should Justin Jefferson be ranked second overall?
Let me say this, man. Let me tell you something. And I remember hearing about Justin Jefferson, man, coming out of high school. Jerry Sullivan, who coached me coming out of high school, is a very good friend of mine. He worked with Justin Jefferson. He called me and said, hey, man, listen, there's this kid coming. He was working out with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. He works him out. He said, there's this kid. He says, ever since I've worked out with you, he's the only kid that I've ever seen as competitive as you.
Really?
And he said, his name is Justin Jefferson. Wait till you hear it. Wait till you see this kid. And he was spot on. He was telling me about how when they worked out Justin Jefferson, he said, Jamar Chase has all these physical gifts, but just hanging out with Justin Jefferson made him understand how to work. I love this dude. I love this dude. I talked about it. Last year, I loved him so much, I stepped way out on that ledge and called for Kirk Cousins to be the MVP because I knew once we start mixing system with talent, we were going to have an explosion. We talked about this earlier when you talk about the system-beating system that we have in the league now. All these touchdowns I used to watch Jerry Rice get on those reverse motions and just shot to the end zone. I'm thinking, you didn't beat a cornerback. That was a system that got that touchdown. You know what I'm saying? And now you got Justin Jefferson in a system that produces like that. Hey, he was going to explode. He'll continue to explode. But putting him second, I don't mind you put him above quarterbacks. I have an issue with him being above the quarterback that made a meteoric rise in Jalen Hurts right now. Because that Jalen Hurts quarterback ended up in a Super Bowl. And Justin Jefferson, my dude, top receiver in the league, he didn't get that deep in the playoffs. So yeah, I don't have an issue with him being number 2 because he's a great receiver. But above Jalen Hurts, yeah, I got an issue with that.
Yeah, when you talk about the number 2 player in the National Football League and there's not a quarterback sitting there, you take issue with it, right? You just do. Jalen Hurts,
when
Joe
the quarterback
Burrow,
has success like Jalen Hurts.
Josh Allen.
I ain't putting Josh Allen above.
Y'all just name a quarterback.
You got Jalen Hurts
Hold
and
on.
Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes.
So let me ask you this
that's
question.
That.
So let me ask you a question then. Would you trade Justin Jefferson for Josh Allen? I'm just asking you a question.
Oh, no, if I need a quarterback.
It's a yes or a no.
But if I need a quarterback.
It's a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. If I need a quarterback, yeah. But if I got a good quarterback, I'm not.
Well, how about if you're Minnesota?
Let me clean it up for you and make it easy.
Am I going to take Kirk Cousins? Am I going to take Josh Allen or Kirk Cousins? Yes, I will.
Okay, I was going to make it easy for you. I was going to make it easy for you.
Okay.
If I'm just giving you a hypothetical, just clean it up for you. If I came to you and I said, you could have Josh Allen, give us Justin Jefferson, but you'd have to cut Kirk Cousins, would you do that deal?
You just became a worse team.
Come on. No, I'm just asking you. That's all. So when you look Justin Jefferson, he is one of the top 6 to 7 receivers in the National Football League, by far. Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs. And then if you want to go A.J. Brown and even a big dude, a DK Metcalf, if you want to do that, all of those guys, to me, are interchangeable, right? To me they are. I like a certain thing. Yes, the league is made up of schemes now. A lot of schemes, getting open picks, different things of that nature. I think he's a hell of a talent. He catches the football, he puts a football in his hands, he does some amazing things. But to sit at number 2, come on, man.
Would you guys agree with me that the position you played is ultimately a dependent position?
I would agree with that.
Okay. I used to always say to people, I need 11 people. See, the math.
You do.
Here's why I need 11. Because you remove me. I need the offensive coordinator to call the play.
Okay.
And I need the other 10 dudes to do their job for me to get the football.
How many routes in your life did you run and think, opened? I'm open. Where's the football?
I wrote a book.
Right.
So you already know how I feel.
What I would say, to agree totally with you, a position that's dependent on other factors.
Yeah.
You're dependent on the O-line, the quarterback, all these things, the coordinator. Like, you can't be top 10 in this National Football League. You are one second, you are dependent on everything else. And I think a pass rusher, Nicholas John Bosa. You talk about Micah Parsons, somebody like that.
I have no problem with that.
You know what they're dependent on? Their effort, their technique, their approach. That's the thing that makes them dominant players. So if you talk about, would I take Justin Jefferson or Nicholas John Bosa or Micah Parsons or a passer, T.J. Watt? You're taking those guys because you know they're going to affect the play every play regardless. They don't have to have the ball. They don't have to have a play call.
That's a strong case. That's a strong case.
No, it is not. Let me give you an understanding of what is done from a guy at that position. I'm not saying quarterback is not tough to play, but you got to discern and decipher things. That's why the shoulders up talent is so important. But playing wide receiver, I got to be out wide. I got to run down this field 20, 25 yards. I got to catch a football that somebody is throwing at me, coming at some ignorant rate of speed between heaven and earth. I got to snatch it out the air, find my way to the ground when everybody trying to take my head off, turn around and go run a touchdown. You won't tell me the dude running back that's trying to tackle the quarterback is more gifted than that. Get out of here. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Yeah, more valuable. I'm not even saying that. I need chunk plays in this game.
You don't play enough plays, Mike. You don't play enough plays to be that valuable. Y'all take too many subs, too many water breaks.
I don't play enough plays. If I played 3 plays, and I saw Randy Moss play 3 plays, all 3 were touchdowns. He called hitches and was them touchdowns. You gonna tell me?
That's not enough.
I heard you yesterday say defense win championship, and I had already gotten on you one time, so I let you make it on that one because I said I don't want to get on you too many times on the first day. But the truth is, defense don't win championships. Points win championships. You can stop people on defense 100 plays, and one person make 1 point, 1 score on offense, and you lose. You made 99 great plays, and you still lose.
I saw a Super Bowl
defense
won
don't win
10-3.
Super Bowl.
I saw 10-3 Super Bowls.
Yes,
I saw a 10-3 Super Bowl.
Yes.
And that's a defensive game. There's not 40 points being scored in these Super Bowls.
Right.
No, they lost your mind.
Skip, I believe
But you stop somebody from scoring, that's good. That you did good. But you still have, if you scored, the name of the game is who has the most points win, not who stops people the most. So even if you stop,
Skip,
you can stop them all
when I
day.
look at it,
touchdown win games.
When I look at it, though,
that's the point.
Justin Jefferson belongs on the list. I just don't know that he belongs there, too.
Okay.
He makes a great point about pass rushers, and I can go all the way back into history and think about a Lawrence Taylor or whatever you want to call it. Michael Irvin also makes a great point. As a receiver, we depend on a lot of guys. There's a lot going on.
But what we have to do is insane.
But what we had to do,
right.
Not necessarily what they're doing today. Today's game is totally different than it was when we played.
Let me say what he's saying. I agree.
Because we had to pay attention to everything back there. Nowadays, you can just run free access. You got free access at everything. When we got free access, as you would say, Michael, we look up and go, we got free access. We get ready to eat this dude up. But how many times has that happened in our careers? No, not like now. That's why I look at it and I say to myself, I make that face. I go, I don't know. And another thing that how I value and I look at receivers, are you catching any balls on the numbers or everything you doing in the slot? When you know, when you're in the slot, I got the whole field to work with. I'm running shallow crosses, deep crosses. When I line up on them outside numbers, I'm out there with a man, a full-grown man with a full beard with baby car seats looking to do something to you. It's totally different.
Let me ask you one question then.
Totally different.
Would you rather have a guy with 20 sacks or a receiver with 20 touchdowns?
Not even question.
Are you joking?
Not even a question.
You would take a...
Not even a question.
Wait, Michael.
Game changer.
I can't even talk about that.
The pass rush is the antidote to the quarterback. It's the one thing that can stymie the quarterback from doing what he does.
Somebody, Mike, somebody, hold on.
So a sack is not tantamount to a touchdown. That's what you just told me.
Hold on.
A sack is not tantamount to a touchdown.
You going to? Can you fluff touchdowns? We just talked about it. Can you fluff touchdowns?
Yes.
You cannot fluff them sacks, boy. You cannot fluff them sacks.
But if I'm drafting playmaker, if I'm drafting and I got my board on the room, and I got
That's just amazing.
If I'm drafted and as being the #1 overall pick as a receiver, and this is me talking now, proud to be the #1 overall pick as a receiver.
Go ahead on.
But if I'm drafting and I got a receiver on the board, and I got a pass rusher, left tackle, shut down corner.
You're talking supply and demand.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about supply and demand. I'm talking about the value. A pass rusher has more. T.J. Watt, Bosa's at the height of a Khalil Mack. They got more value than we do. That's all I'm saying.
And when I say supply and demand, only because you feel that there's harder to find a pass rusher than it is the receiver.
Absolutely.
I'm saying,
Absolutely.
But I'm saying the great receiver
one.
brings you. I'd rather take the 20 touchdowns over the 20 sacks.
You know what?
How many times have we seen a receiver score 20 touchdowns? We've seen many teams have guys with 20 sacks, and they went nowhere. Now let's pick up and find out how many times the team won. Guys scored 20 touchdowns. I guarantee you that team did something.
So you look in the Super Bowl.
Let's look at
You're going to find the team with the highest sacks. 70 sacks last year, Philadelphia Eagles.
We ain't talking about the team. We're talking about the individual. You're moving the argument. We're not talking about the team. We're talking about the individual.
Why you take off your glasses, man?
I don't know.
So here's the irony of this. Would you believe? Do you remember who drafted you, who was still running that draft room when you went in the draft?
Oh, Gil Brandt.
Gil Brandt, thank you. What was he infamous for? His statement that you can find a receiver on any street corner.
And that's what it is.
Any
That's
street
supply and
corner.
demand.
That's what
You can't find Michael
Well, I
Irvin.
know you can't find you.
No, you can't.
But I will say this: you will be the last ever taken #1 overall, the last receiver. I'm pretty sure it'll never happen again.
Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. got a chance.
You know what? I'll say something to piss you off right now.
What's that? What you got?
Corner is a harder position.
See, now I got to go, Mike. I got to get it. And this ain't rehearsed.
I'm not doing that with you. I'm not doing this with you.
This is not rehearsed.
Wait for y'all to go.
I swear it's not rehearsed.
Now, hold on. This ain't rehearsed.
But I promise you,
This
I'm
ain't
about to
rehearsed.
leave this
Hold on.
Stop, dog.
Hold on.
Stop.
Skip, let me just talk to you real quick. I want to get you in on this.
I can't believe you trying to get
Now, hold on, Mike.
Go ahead.
Mike.
Let y'all talk.
You said it's a harder position.
Harder position.
Harder position. What did you start off at?
Receiver.
Okay. What does that say? You play receiver, you couldn't play it at the level that got you to where you are, so you went to corner because it was much easier to do.
Well, you ain't got to catch that ball. Well, you ain't got to catch that ball between.
All you got to do is run with somebody. All you got to do is run with somebody.
And you got a safety over there to help you.
Yeah.
Can I go now?
All you got to do is run with somebody.
The reason
Eyes look back at the quarterback and float. Keep your hips to the sideline. Stop it, Richard.
The reason I moved positions is because I didn't want to be dependent on somebody else.
Oh, yeah,
I
nice
didn't
try.
want to be,
Nice try.
I didn't want to be dependent on somebody else. I want to control my own destiny.
And you know what I wanted to do?
You know what?
I wanted to make sure that I impacted every play. I didn't want no water breaks. I didn't want to take off. Hey, it's a 10-play series. Guess you play corner, I'm on the field for 10 plays. It's a 60-play game. I'm on the field for 60 plays.
I got to give you love here. I know you just started this business, but you knew to make that vital point right in the camera, right to your people. I don't know who went with you on that, but I got to give you the love on that. But it ain't worth it. The cornerbacks are not the one. Don't even try, but I got to give you love on that.
Guys move positions from the receiver position to the cornerback position because they can't play the receiver position because it's too hard.
That is how it happens almost every time.
They're trying to catch every ball in their hands.
Diggs, one of the good corners right now, playing for the Dallas Cowboys in the National Football League. Guess what he started at? Receiver.
Right.
So,
but this is too tough.
What did Jimmy Johnson, a guy you know and love very well, what did he teach me from the beginning, 1989 on? He said, I need a quarterback and I need cornerbacks.
Yes.
Okay? I need cornerbacks because he knew that's how you stop you and you, right? If you get a Deion, did Deion not change? We're going to talk about Deion in just a few minutes here. I know. But did Deion not just re-level the playing field from 1994 to 1995? He switches uniforms from San Francisco to your metallic blue Dallas Cowboys, and it changed life because he could change the way you played defense. He could take a whole side of the field and just say, I got Michael Irvin. I don't even care. In that 94 playoff, the NFC Championship game, it's the greatest single one-on-one matchup I have ever seen between those two. Okay? Now, let's get back to Justin Jefferson.
Wait.
Yeah,
So they won that game, so you got to put the numbers out. All right. 2 for 192 and 3 touchdowns.
He had 192.
Mike Ball.
They fell behind 21-0, and all of a sudden, number 8, Troy Aikman, had no choice but to throw it to him every time. It was Dion on him the whole rest of the game. All right, back to Justin Jefferson. Here's the irony of what you told me to start this all off. You said that Jerry Sullivan told you that this kid has got a lot of you in him. I have said on this show, sitting in this chair, I don't see enough Michael Irvin and Justin Jefferson. I might be a prisoner of 3 Cowboy games, because if you look at what he's done against the Cowboys, he lost all 3 games. That's Kirk Cousins' fault more than his, obviously. But he was pedestrian. In the 3 games against Dallas, he averaged 3 catches for 47 yards. And the game's over, and I'm thinking, did he play? I don't know. I don't see fire in his belly. This guy had fire like you have never seen. He was the leader of the football team, which is hard to do when you have a quarterback and you have so much star power at other positions. But the locker room followed him. Okay, it did.
Skip. And, you know, it's so funny because I saw that early in him. You guys remember. And they had something on social media. Remember, Kirk Cousins missed him in the end zone.
Yeah.
And he went.
Yeah.
And then I ran into him, and I was talking to him and his brother, because he's always with his brother. And I say, hey, man, you know, they're going to be watching you. And your quarterback's going to see that.
Yeah.
You know, now, I don't mind you going at anybody else, but don't make your quarterback feel funny about throwing you the money. Okay. You know what I'm saying? No. Don't ever make him feel funny. So I say, you know, do something, because you can't.
Yeah.
Hey, I would come over that sideline, and even if Troy threw the ball in the ground, I'm yelling at us, what's going on out here? And, you know, it's anybody but Troy. You want him to keep throwing. And so you don't see, I try to make sure he doesn't do that on a football field where Kirk Cousins is going to take it a wrong way and say, well, if I can't make a perfect pass, I ain't going to throw it at all. Because you want him to throw everything. Anything in the area code, he answers.
So bigger picture, to me, Devontae Adams is still a bad man. I mean, I'm just taking him over Justin Jefferson. And listen, Jamar Chase is a bad man.
I'm taking him over too.
Okay, thank you. So I wouldn't put any receiver at 2.
Somebody's going to be mad, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's Devontae Adams, whether it's Justin Jefferson, whether it's DK, somebody going to get mad when you take somebody else over somebody else. That's just the reality of it. But in all honesty, to me, when I look at those other guys, again, I like guys that can run routes on the numbers as well as inside. I haven't necessarily seen Justin Jefferson get out on those numbers and work it the way I would like. That's all. You know,
everybody got a different preference.
Yeah, everybody got different.
I think he's a great receiver. I think the guys in Seattle both underrated.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Lockett.
I'm a Lockett guy. I'm a Lockett guy.
No question. I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be really good in San Francisco. But receivers, it's a lot of good receivers in the National Football League. A lot of people running that scheme. That Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, that condensed formation, back the corners off, so you can have free releases and free roam. That changes the way they run their offenses. That changes the way these quarterbacks operate. That's why everybody sounds crazy when Kyle Shanahan's like, hey, I would take Kirk Cousins in a Mississippi Mint. He'd take him today. With all this going on, if Kirk Cousins was available, he would take him, because in this scheme, he is what they want. He is mobile enough. He makes the right decisions. He makes the right passes. But the receiver position is too dependent.
You should have made me right last year and won the MVP.
No.
Like I said.
By the way, we got to get Deion Sanders in here sometime to sit over there, maybe, and then you guys wouldn't be able to gang up on him about the value of cornerback, because, listen, Deion would.
Come help me.
This dude went in on corners.